What do you think your biggest weakness is? What kind of personality traits do you think make a good leader? Guess what? These are not the kind of interview questions that you're going to be asked during the phone screen. My name is Bill Benoist. I'm a certified professional career coach here in Silicon Valley. And in today's video, I want to talk about the initial phone interview and how you can best prepare for that. And if you're a professional, you already know that there's certain do's and don'ts that come along with a phone interview. I mean, number one, you want to make sure that you're in a quiet space. You already know this. You want to make sure that there's not going to be any disruptions, that you have good cell service when this call comes in. But there's also some things that you might not have thought about. Making sure that you have gone through and know everything that you can about the company that you're going to be interviewing for. So this means going to their website, researching as much as you can, Googling the company, looking at not only their products and services and the industry and where the industry is going, but also who the competitors are of this. Make sure that you go to their About page. If they have a mission statement, review the mission statement. You want to be able to blow the socks off that recruiter when they say, "So, do you know anything about our company?" And if they don't ask that, they could very well ask, "So, what made you decide to apply for this company?" So, preparation is key, is just key. It's foundation for the phone interview. Now, what I want you to be aware of is that, as I said, they're not going to be asking you these behavioral type of questions or, tell me about your biggest weakness or what are your strengths or something. No. They are really looking for three things. They've got about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Very rarely will these phone screens go more than 20 minutes. And they're looking for certain traits, characteristics. And the biggest one, I would say, is your energy level. Remember, this is not a Zoom call. This is not an in-person interview. This is a phone interview. How are you presenting yourself over the phone? So you've probably heard that if you smile when you're talking with someone, that actually comes through. And that is true. That is, by all accounts, true. But here's another little thing that you can do, and that is stand up. When you're standing up and you're talking, you are going to sound more confident. And you might, be wondering about your confidence level, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But for right now, you want to show your energy and your confidence. And the best way to do that is by smiling and standing up and making sure that your answers are concise and that you're just not rambling on. And before we go any further here, in the notes section below, I have a free download that you can check out. It's the 5 top interview questions that pretty much you need to know and the best ways to answer these questions. And it gives you this, what I would call this format, this template that you can work with to craft your answers out there. So energy level, number 1, that they're going to be looking for. Number 2 is going to be to make sure that you are a fit for this position. And the way they do this most of the times is they'll say, "Let me tell you a little bit about the position." All right? So this is very common. They want to make sure that you're a fit for this position, that this is something that you would like to do as well. So they're going to go through and they're going to talk about the position and maybe a little bit about what it is that they're looking for. And they're going to ask you, is this something that, sounds of interest to you? Hey, you know what? You don't have to say yes to this question, but they're going to go through this. So be aware of that. And then the third thing, and this is a very important element, and that is they need to validate your competence. I've talked about this in many, many videos. It's your resume that validates your competence. It's the phone screen that validates your competence. And it is that in-person interview that's now going to be validating your compatibility out there. Sure, there's still going to be some questions about your competence, but for the most part, your confidence was validated by the resume and by the phone screen. So, what does that mean? It means they're going to be doing a much deeper dive into your resume. There's something else I've said and talked about in a lot of different videos, and that is the 6-second scan that a recruiter does or an HR department does. They don't really read the resume, they scan it and they say, okay, this looks like a good one, we'll call this one. Nope, 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 this looks like a good one, and they'll put it over here. Now, on the phone interview, it's going to be a lot deeper. They're going to be reading this, and you need to be prepared for talking about the various points on your resume. And again, you don't want to ramble about this. You want to have some concise answers. And one of the things that I work with in my private clients is just simply going bullet point by bullet point by bullet point, or even sentence by sentence by sentence down the resume, and creating what I would say a star statement or a source statement about that specific topic or accomplishment. And if you don't know what these are, a star is the situation, the task or your responsibility, the action you took, the result. SOAR, the situation, the obstacle that you might have faced, the action you took, and the result. And again, I have this also in the free download below. The top 5 interview questions that you need to be prepared for. You don't want to ramble. You need to keep your responses to absolutely no more than 2 minutes. But this is what they're looking for. Again, your energy, making sure that you are a good fit and that you feel that you're a good fit for the position, and then validating your competence, validating what you have on your resume. And if you're not an exact match to that job position, because maybe it's an industry change or even a position change, then what you're going to want to make sure that you can craft over is how your transferable skills will match this position. All right? Okay, now, earlier, and the final thing is that I talked about the importance of preparation and going through the company website, looking at their about statement, their mission statement, their products or services. There's something else that's going to do for you, and that's going to allow you to create a couple of questions for them when they're interviewing you. Now, mind you, you only have time for maybe 2 or 3 questions on this, and one of those questions, it needs to be at the end of the interview when they say, so do you have any questions for us? One of those questions has to be, yes, can you tell me what the next steps are? Because that shows that you're interested, and you also know when you can expect to hear from them again. But you may have time for another couple of questions, and those can come about, and they'll be well thought out questions based upon the research that you did with the company. So, in closing, I hope you found this video informative and useful. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, make sure that you do so. Hit the bell notification, as I do upload new career tips and strategies every Tuesday, and I'd hate for you to miss anything. Thanks for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you next week.